Hey, what's good today? You're watching Meats by Dre, and I am Dre. If you, for some reason, find anything today informative or entertaining, and you want to be one of my meat peeps, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. And yeah, if you know anybody who you think might benefit from hearing from me, please share this video with them. Also in the comments, I'd love to hear what y'all want to hear from me. I have a bunch of ideas of what I want to talk about, but if there's people who are enjoying this content and want to ask questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. So I want to do kind of a postscript to my last episode because I don't feel like I completely finished. First and foremost, I want to just I couldn't remember his name when I mentioned Dr. Osborne. I couldn't remember his first name. His name's Dr. Peter Osborne. He's based out of Sugar Land, Texas, and he's brilliant. And he is not he's not a carnivore guy, but he is a gluten-free guy, and he's done a lot of work there. Like I mentioned before, he wrote the book No Grain, No Pain. I would definitely recommend a read for that, and I would recommend following his content because he has breakthroughs on avoiding gluten and gluten-like substances that you're probably not going to hear anywhere else. I also want to give credit to Dr. William Davis, who wrote Wheat Belly. He started me on understanding the issues with gluten, and you may be thinking like, well, I'm not celiac or I'm not gluten sensitive. These guys can really break down for you that even if you're not either of those things, gluten still inherently causes inflammation in your body, and the gluten-like substances inherently cause inflammation in your body. Your body reacts to them, does not want them in there. This is the kind of food that back in the day would have sustained us if we were starving, but it should not be a staple for daily consumption as far as I'm concerned. I also want to talk about something close to me that was the catalyst for why I started all this searching to begin with. Somebody close to me had a problem with their gallbladder, and at first we thought it was pancreatitis, which really freaked me out because I guess my first thought was like pancreatic cancer, and that's usually a death sentence, and so I was worried that I was going to lose this person. But come to find out that the gallbladder was so inflamed that it had covered the pancreas. So when the doctors were looking, they were like, yeah, we think your pancreas is super inflamed. Turned out it was the gallbladder. I guess there were blockages that caused the doctors to remove it. And it seems like in this case it was justified. They can be pretty, in my opinion, they can be pretty cavalier about that thing and just kind of be like, oh, let's just take out your gallbladder. You don't need it anyway. In fact, I've heard that sometimes when you get your appendix removed, they just are like, well, while we're in there, we'll just take out your gallbladder. You need your gallbladder. You can make do without it, but the question is, do you want to get by or do you want to be optimal? There's a lot of times when your gallbladder is having issues, it seems to be because you're not eating enough fat, and making sure you have enough fat is important for your gallbladder function, as well as your gallbladder is what helps you digest fat to begin with. And so what doctors may not be telling you when you have the elective surgery of removing your gallbladder is that in about 5 years, you're probably going to have a lack of bile, which is what emulsifies the fat so you can take the vitamins out of it. So you end up deficient in, over time, you end up deficient in the most important vitamins, D, A, K, and E. So if you want to keep your gallbladder, eat your meats. So that was a catalyst for me, because I just thought, well, why would this just happen? Why would her gallbladder attack her body, essentially? And so that, for me, and my sense of logic was, there's got to be something in her diet that caused her gallbladder to react that way. And that was the thing that really set me on this path of, I'm going to figure out what's going on, because I don't want people that I love to be on that same path. And if there's information I can figure out that would help prevent that and help my loved ones be healthier, then I want to do what I can to figure that out. Okay, so that's, I guess, closing last episode, and today is my 91st day of being on the carnivore diet, eating what I call the hyper carnivore feeding protocol. And I feel like I'm killing it. I feel great. Today I wanted to talk to y'all about what that means to me, what feeling great, I want to itemize it as much as I can. So first things first, I feel great in my mood. I feel like, well, mainly I just feel happier, and I feel like my default is happy. And I think I don't know that my default has always been happy. I'm certainly an optimist. There's certainly been times where I had acute depression. There are times where I was never diagnosed with it, but I would consider I probably had clinical depression, but I wouldn't have been diagnosed with that, just because it's another whole thing that I've been afraid of, is being put on SSRIs or something like that. I certainly don't need that anymore. I am much happier, even more optimistic than normal. I still get angry. I still have some sad thoughts. What's funny though is a lot of times I'll get angry and for like a second or two, and then I laugh about it, or I laugh about it provoking anger in me. So I just feel happier, much more resilient. And this is coming from, even though I've done a lot of work to be optimistic and to be happy, I don't think that was my natural disposition. When I was younger than 10, I struggled with a lot of sadness and obsession with perfection, even suicidal ideation, because I felt sad, and because I felt if I wasn't perfect, I didn't deserve to live. And I think the only thing that kept me from doing something about that was that I was more afraid of it than I was, I guess, afraid to continue to live. All that to say, I've had issues that a lot of us have had: suicidal ideation, acute and possibly even clinical depression. And not that I haven't done the work with my therapist and with supplementation and things like that before I found the carnivore. Before I found carnivore, But I feel like that, along with the other work I've done, has really just combined to boost me up even more. And my default is like an 8 or 9 on happiness, which feels amazing. Okay, let's see. What's next? Let's look at this body. Well, I mean, I guess we'll just go like big picture still. So I want to talk about my skin. My face has been pretty clear for a long time, but I get these, I used to get these really gnarly pimples on my back and across my shoulder blades, even sometimes down my legs, and they were really stubborn, and they would stay there for like weeks. And I would get to where I pop them, or maybe more specifically, I used to see a girl who like loved being a pimple popper, so it was like a treat for her to work on my skin, and she would torture me by popping them, although I kind of liked it. I think I mainly liked how much it made her happy, but she would do her best to, like, you know, I don't know, get all the gunk out of there or whatever, and they would still stay there, and it was like they would burrow under the skin, and my skin would heal over it, but the pimple would still be there. And I really don't know what that was, except for I do have a theory that maybe it was oxalate dumping, because when I first started eating carnivore, I got like this whole like mountain range over here that was like that, and it was super they were really big, they were really painful, and then once they went away, I haven't had another one, not a single one. So I would say it probably took those 2-3 weeks to go away. So I've been 60-70 days without anything. Phone is falling. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I've been 60-70 days without any breakouts whatsoever, which feels amazing. So the next thing, which I think I'm going to continue on the next episode, because I don't think I have enough time, but it's going to have to do with my workout and exercise results, and eventually I'm going to devote like a whole series to that, because some of the numbers I've seen in the gym since going carnivore have they've kind of blown my mind. So not to tease that out too much, but I'm going to do a whole series on that. But at the start of the next video, that's where I'll pick up, is talking about my results in the gym. So that's it for right now and for today. And just to remind you that plants are garbage.